What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is October the 23rd. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is focusing on today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data, big one for today is going to be existing home sales, although I don't really see that being too impactful to the market. What is going to move the market though is companies unveiling the earnings. So right now, market is digesting a lot of big companies such as QuantumScape and also Tesla and their earnings. So Tesla's earnings wasn't all that great. You are currently seeing the futures a little bit red. So Dow is down 0.21, S&P down 0.12, NASDAQ down 0.22. One thing that I do notice though is during the overnight and also the pre-market, we are seeing very low volume, very similar to yesterday. So I don't know if big institutions are waiting for the market to open. That way they can really just tank the stock market again. So just be anticipated to set some stop losses just in case. Because I think that's their new strategy that they like to do, is that entities buy puts first thing on a lot of stocks, and then algos really just suppress a market. That way their puts do appreciate. So I think that's kind of the latest thing that has been happening. But right now, fear and greed index is under the fear category. Yesterday, during the last hour, it was kind of bouncing back and forth between extreme fear and fear. Most likely today we'll be dipping into the fear, extreme fear category, meaning people's appetite for risk in theory isn't necessarily there. Getting right to it, SoFi is down 0.74, just largely piggybacking off of the broader market. Nothing really coming out from them, so no news, no SEC filings or anything like that. 9.3% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 109 million shares overall being shorted. Shorts returned a small amount yesterday, but nothing like significant. Right now with that 27.02, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 26.81 is going to be the key level you really want to watch for that to hold, and then 29.33 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Moving on, NIO is gaining some good momentum, 0.51% in the green, and I do believe that there's been some articles that did come out talking about Chinese stimulus, so I think that's really impacting some Chinese stocks in a positive way. Regarding shorts, they are returning 324,000 shares during the pre-market, which is always good, a very positive sign. Shows that they do really want to move NIO higher, but or they want to mitigate risk, I guess. But 11.76% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 162 million shares overall being shorted. Shorts surprisingly have been returning quite a lot over the last several trading days. But they are still very active during the trading day. They're not just outright returning. They are very strategic in what they do throughout the day. So whoever is shorting NIO definitely isn't just a mom and pop type of institution. They are some fairly big names that know what they're doing. But right now with 687, it is trading between these 2 points to this pivot and this S1. And this is something I've almost stated for like the last 2 weeks. $7, $7, $7. That's all I say, because it's true. That's going to be the next point, key pivot for NIO. So just watch for $7. Aside from that, though, you have BYND. This is the most heavily traded stock in the pre-market. It is down 20%. So what is very interesting about BYND, there hasn't been any news today to kind of justify today's push lower, but you do recently have this. So you do have a 13D, which did signal that Wolverine Asset Management did make a new position, 18.9 million shares. So very positive. You would think logically that big money and institutions and retail would take this as a positive and really move higher. But when it came down to this amended 13G, which did signal that a institution sold 20 million shares, 20 plus million shares, that seems to have drove the price higher. So I think just people have things inverse a little bit, but it is what it is. Aside from that though, this is 109.03% of the free floats being shorted. Of course, VTYX is using this as a benchmark, so the outstanding share count being 76.75 million. I do believe that there's been some dilution announced, so this technically has been wrong. Only just VTYX and a lot of other platforms, they wait up until the company puts out a 8K or an official update with the outstanding share count. So once that does happen, then a lot of these platforms will update the short interest. But as of right now, it does signal 103.03%. So do your own due diligence and all the other fun jazz. With that 289 trading between the R2 and this R1. So 271 and then 204 is going to be support levels. 312 and then 380 is going to be the next round target / resistance points. Moving on, ticker VTYX. So this one has been doing fairly well over the last 1 year, but today it is up 89%. So this one is going to be a pretty good one for day trades, swing trades, and so forth. But this is the reason why they are moving higher. As I've mentioned in the past, biotechs aren't really my forte, so I'm not going to try and explain this to you, but this is the reason why they are moving higher this morning. 7.31% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 3.9 million shares overall being shorted. With it at 727, trading between this R1 and the pivot, 521 is going to be that strong support. And then in theory, given the momentum, I do feel that 896 could be potentially where it does go or bounces off of. If it really gets some good legs, 1128 is going to be the following target / resistance. And then last but not least, SGBX. This stock's been getting occasionally a lot of volume, although hasn't really been doing that great. It is up 39.91% this morning, and that is because of this. So it looks like a new collaborative partnership with OneQuote, if I'm saying that right. So that's what's really moving it higher. 45.1% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 215,000 shares overall being shorted. This stock, I do believe, I've dived deep into it in the past, and I think that they do have a lot of convertible notes. And so essentially I would say that this is incorrect, and most likely that there is a lot of dilution happening behind the scenes. But as I've mentioned, technically you can still make some pretty good money. It doesn't matter if a stock is diluting or not. You can ride the wave up. You just have to be very experienced. So this one will be a good day trade for experienced investors. So this one you need to be very cautious about, because yeah, things could go very south very fast, as what we have seen. Even though with a lot of good volume, it lasts sometimes half a day or a day, and that is it. Right now with 321 trading between these 2 points, so the pivot in this S1, so 283 is going to be a strong support, and then 396 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. I don't really see this pivot point being touched, only because you might see a little bit of a spike and then that might kind of taper off. Possibly it might gravitate towards this S1 throughout the day, so just trade accordingly, right? So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. But daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.